During this video, we'll take a closer look at our interactive virtual tour app to better understand what it is, how it works, and how to set it up. Let's start by checking out an example. When you're inside a virtual tour, you'll naturally need to be able to navigate and move around. You do this by simply clicking and dragging in any direction you want. In some situations, you may also want to zoom in or out. This example has a lot of ways for you to interact with it. Let's start by clicking on this picture. Two things happen when I do so. First, we move closer to the wall by seamlessly transitioning into a new 360 image. Secondly, a lead form is revealed on the wall, which we need to submit to unlock the next thing we can do. It's worth noting that any interaction is trackable and can be used to personalize the experience in real time. As I submit the form, a new image appears on the opposite wall. When I click it, I once again transition into a new 360 image and can now play a Wheel of Fortune game. Looks like today might be my lucky day. Once again, by completing this step, the next thing that we can do is now revealed. In this case, a hotspot that takes us to the hallway. As you can probably see, the user journey is controlled by only unlocking the next step once certain actions has been completed. This can be very useful if you want to make sure information is presented to the audience in a certain order. You can use the same logic in other creative ways as well, such as for creating a fun virtual escape room experience, challenging players to find clues that they can use to progress and win the game. I hope it's clear how there are a ton of other ways you can add interactivity to your virtual tour and be creative. For instance, here you see a poll, and if we turn around, there's now a quiz. You can of course also have fixed interactive points, such as this icon in the top right corner that reveals an overlaying menu when clicked. I think you get the point. The options truly are endless. I recommend you to go and try out the full experience for yourself and try to think of ways you can apply this to your own business. Perhaps for an online event, as part of a product release, a new shopping experience, a presentation of your company, or something entirely else. Think of it as a new opportunity for your customers to, quite literally, enter your world and engage with your brand in new and immersive ways. But enough talk. Let's go through how you can set this up. The first thing I'll do is to create a new blank project, then drag in the interactive virtual tour component to my page. To enter the primary configuration of the component, simply right-click and choose Enter to Edit. Let's now add our first 360 image. We can do so by clicking Change 360 Image. From here, you will see a list of all your available images, and as you can see, there are already 2 sample images for us to choose from. If you already have your own images, then simply click Add Image in the top right corner to do so. We support 2 types of 360 images, Cube Map and the more simple Equi-Rectangular. If you want to learn more about these types and what you need to do, then please check out our help articles. In this video, we'll just use our sample images. When I apply the first sample image, I can already experience and navigate the image, which I can use to position hotspots in the right location. Before doing so, I'll add another stage for my other sample image. It's good to already name your stages according to the image source, so I'll do that as well. Great. We now have our 2 rooms ready and can start editing and connecting them. The first thing I like to do is to set the start view. This controls what visitors see when the image is initially loaded. All you need to do is just position the view and then click this icon to update it. If you want to see what you set as your start view, then click the other icon. It's also a good idea to set the max and min zoom, which controls the range for how much the experience can be zoomed in and out. All you need to do is zoom in using the scroll wheel until you think it's enough, and then click on the max zoom button to apply it. Then do the same for the minimum zoom. You can always click Preview to test it and see if you're happy with the results. The next thing I will want to add is some navigation. I will need to add a hotspot that takes the visitor to our second stage. To do so, I'll position my view to where I want to add the hotspot and then click on Add New Hotspot. This creates an invisible square where we can place our content inside. For now, I'll just use a part that I've created for my navigation. You can of course create your own custom design for this, which could be as simple as using an image that you upload. The next step is to trigger the action to go into the next room. To do so, I'll right-click the outer row of my part and add an action under the click trigger. Here I'll search for the name of the interactive virtual tour, which in my case is Panorama. From here we'll want to use the Go To action, which now allows us to set up where we want to go and how we transition to another stage. First, you define the stage you want to go to. I'll select Art Room 2. Then you can decide on what the view position should be when entering the new stage. I'll just use the default start view, but you could have multiple views and use different ones depending on how you enter the stage. The transition duration controls how fast the fade-in effect finishes when entering the new stage. And lastly, if you use the zoom in setting, then you can set up a nice zoom effect before entering the next room. If I now preview the page and click on the hotspot, you can see that we now enter the second room. At this point, we should now set up our second room. I'll start by updating the start view, as well as setting the maximum and minimum zoom. For this room, I want to add a quiz that only shows when a button is clicked. First, I'll add and position my two hotspots. I'll also name them accordingly. You do that by right-clicking your hotspot and simply update the name at the top. Now that we have two hotspots, you can see them from your hotspot drop-down list. I'll use two parts that I've created to add my button and my quiz. I'll also hide my hotspot containing my quiz per default and then add an action to show it when the button is clicked. As a last detail, I want to zoom to the quiz when it's revealed. I can achieve this by adding another view. The process for this is similar to setting the start view. First, you position your view, and then you click to create a new view. Remember to always rename your view to something that makes sense. I'll now add the Go To action to the button and target our newly created view. Let's publish the page and try it out. As you can see, with just a few steps, we are able to create our very own virtual tour that will allow you to not only capture data inside, but also add close to any interactivity you could possibly dream of, such as interactive videos, games, product recommenders, calculators, polls, lead form, and the list goes on. But that's gonna be it for this basic introduction of our interactive virtual tour feature. I hope you learned a lot. Thanks for watching.